It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This right here is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Alstyne. Car Con Carne is sponsored by Exploding House Printing, who are here for all of your screen printing, embroidery, and other merchandising needs. They are local in Chicago, headquartered in Hermosa, a mere 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. And you should consider them if you're a band, brand owner. They can take care of your t-shirts, merch, whatever. They focus on small businesses. Jonathan, the guy behind Exploding House, has been doing this for decades, so he knows what he's doing, and he offers production efficiency and cost awareness to offer boutique print shop quality at much lower large print shop prices. Check him out on Instagram at Exploding House, or see their site at explodinghouseprinting.com for a quote, or see their massive list of clients. Just last month, the Toadies released this album. It is The Charmer, and it is fantastic. It was recorded with the late iconic Steve Albini himself, a Chicago legend. The album has a gritty rawness and toughness to it, but at its core, it is the Toadies through and through. I'm sitting in Lakeview with Toadies guitarist Clark Vogeler. Clark, you wanted pizza before you played the Vic?
I love to eat pizza, and when I'm in Chicago, I eat as much as possible.
As we're waiting for pizza, we're at Art of Pizza. It's a Chicago classic, 3033 North Ashland in Chicago. As we're waiting, I think you said something to the effect that you eat like a 10-year-old.
I eat like a 10-year-old with a credit card. So lots of pizza.
Are you always like that, or is that just when you're on the road?
No, it's always like that. It's pretty much how I've made my way through life, is eating what tastes good rather than what's good for me.
What's great as a touring musician, you can burn a lot of that off on stage.
And my plan is, like, I walk around these cities and try to walk as much as I can so that I can eat whatever I want while I'm there.
I can confirm that. So we met at Art of Pizza. I didn't know how you were getting here, if you were Ubering. You just walked up to the car from Nelson Street, a side street over here, and I'm like, where did you come from? I'm like, I just walked. I like doing that.
I try to get at least 5 miles a day. For the first couple weeks, I was getting 10 miles a day, which means I could eat as much pizza and ice cream as I can get without having to, wear extra large shirts to hide the belly at the show.
And I swear, when you're on the road, I was just talking about this with Basque, who are from North Carolina. They were here on Friday night. When I used to have to travel for business, I'm not a musician, I didn't tour, but when I used to have to travel for business, whenever I had downtime, I made a point of walking, driving, seeing whatever I could of that town, because from my perspective, I never knew if I'd make it back to those cities. So I wanted to take in as much of that city's culture and just texture as I could.
Yeah, I've become the same way, and I really think that walking is the best way to see any city. You really are on the ground, you look in every store, you're passing people, and I've kind of come to learn that I really enjoy this exploration of the cities when I'm in, when I'm in them for a day. I love to just see as much as I can, and then, next time I come back, the parts of town look familiar, and I know where the good shops are, the good coffee's that way, the good slices down that way. So that's kind of become my routine every day. I just hit the street and start walking and drinking good coffee and eating good food.
My man. And I wonder if, when you do this, if there are people who say, I swear to God, that looks like the guitarist from the Toadies.
I don't think anybody knows what I look like, which is fine. I don't mind. But I don't think that happens very much.
All right, let's talk over some food. I don't want to keep you from food. I'm going to move this camera. You want to open that box up? So you wanted to try stuffed pizza. You've never had stuffed pizza.
I've been to Chicago many times, had all the major ones, the Pequods, I'm blanking on the names. Scott was busting my balls about...
Scott Lucas of Local H.
Because I like Giordano's. I'm a sucker for their thin crust. It's really good. I've had all the stuff. I like all the thin crust. I like all the thick crust, but I've never had a stuffed pie before.
And I'm glad we're recording this several hours before you go on stage.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need to burn it. Okay, so you got a pepperoni and you got a stuffed sausage?
Yeah, that's right.
And I did stuffed spinach, so I'm going to grab that from you.
So let's see. There is... We explained this. Oh,
oops.
There you go. Do you know which one's sausage?
It's the one without green.
That one?
Yes.
Okay, great.
You're anti-veg.
Yeah, that's the 10-year-old with me.
This is going to be ugly. I'm pessimistic about this.
We got napkins.
Uh-huh. So I was thinking as I was driving over here, it is 2026. This is correct me if I'm wrong, the 30th anniversary of you joining the band.
That's right. 30 years.
Could you have ever imagined in 1996 still cranking it out, supporting a brand new album?
I would never have imagined we'd be doing this at this point. When I joined the band in 96, our plan was to release an album the next year and tour. And honestly, I didn't know if it would last before that or beyond that.
And that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. It took years for us to get that next album, 6 years. And when it came out, the record label didn't do anything for it, and we were all just disenchanted, and we just broke up the band. And at that point, I
That's
thought
such a 1990s story.
it happened to so many bands. It really did. But I was 31 when we broke up, and I thought, wow, I never thought I'd be a musician this long at that point. And here I am, just turned 57 at the beginning of this tour, and we're still doing it, and people are still coming out. It really blows my mind. We would have never in a million years thought that we'd still be doing that at this age.
Well, and the Toadies have now had the chance to cross generations. Like, I'm taking my son tonight to the show, who's in his early 20s, and he just discovered I come from the water, and like he's just catching up, and that's kind of cool too. So you have the people who were there in the beginning, and then you've got all new faces.
New generation. We see a lot of parents bringing their children to the shows, which is super cool. We've even seen shows with 3 generations of Toadies fans. But the cool thing we're seeing on this tour is a bunch of young people in their teens and 20s up front, and there's way more of them than we've ever seen, and they're the most excited fans there. So I feel like the young crowd is the reason that we're playing bigger and bigger rooms these days and having better time, because they're really excited about the new stuff. They love the old stuff. They just want to hear some loud live music. And so we're just happy to see them.
So the new album, which I held up, is The Charmer. Some of these songs had seeds planted years ago, several years ago. When you went in to record them, had they changed much, or are they still kind of the same vision?
I think for the most part, when we went in, because we knew going in with Steve Albini that he's not the kind of studio engineer that's going to say something like, that chorus should go twice as long, or you need to do something in this middle section. That is just not what he brought to the table.
Right.
And we knew that going in, so we were pretty sure that we had everything 100% dialed in. We knew the arrangements. We knew what was going to happen moment to moment. And really, the songs that began to take form in 2018, 2019, I think we just got them into shape then and put them away and kind of forgot about them until it came time to figure out what songs we wanted to put on the album. So these days, we don't wrestle around with a song too much. In the late 90s, we would spend months and maybe even a year or two trying different things on a song. And when you do that, the song loses something, some immediacy.
Yeah, you hit that point of diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns for sure. And songs that we did that to are not memorable songs. The better songs come fast and easy. One of our fans' favorite songs, Song Tyler off the first album, I think that took our singer like 5 or 10 minutes really to write the whole thing. And so we aim for not laboring over the songs or arrangements as much as possible.
I like how you made your singer anonymous. Our singer, Vaden. That guy.
The singer in my band, yeah. The guy who, writes most of the songs, writes all the lyrics, and he's the one out front singing all that stuff. So it is his band that we have all been fortunate to join and play along with for this time.
Digging into the songs, Come to Life, I love the quiet loud on that. What really sells this one to me is that full band singing the chorus. And then you've got that fat lead guitar sound going on there too. Love that song. And I think it's a good early pick. I talk all the time about how I love album sequencing and just looking at an album as a piece of art as a whole and how it's kind of threaded through. That was a great early choice for the record.
It's unusual. We don't play that one live. There's only a few songs we don't play live, and mainly because those vocals that are stacked up on the end of that song, those are all our singer. He can make.
Oh,
all
I thought
those-
it was all you guys.
Oh, we can't do that. He has the voice that can really stack
wow.
that stuff up. The
That
rest
makes
of
it
us,
even cooler. I mean, no disrespect. That
Oh
makes-
yeah, it's really cool. There's a video that I put together of him stacking all these harmonies up, and it's cool to see him figure out what the notes on the guitar and then hit record
Oh,
and then
wow.
go in and just lay them in, and the sound just keeps getting bigger and bigger. You probably picked up on it. That song specifically has a lot of Boston flavor. The band Boston.
It did have that kind of AOR vibe. I didn't want to insult you.
No. I think that we brought a lot more classic rock flavor on this album than we have to previous albums. And the interesting thing is we go on with Steve Albini, and he was surprisingly well versed in classic rock, and he was an enthusiastic.
Chicago guy.
Yeah.
We were all weaned on it.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess for some reason I pictured him to maybe be too cool for classic
Right.
rock, but no, he loved a lot of that stuff. So I think that was cool to bring his perspective into the sound, mixing it with these kind of classic rock flavors.
How long did you stay in Chicago to record it? Were you here for a week?
We were here for a month.
Okay.
I know a lot of bands go in and would work with him for over a weekend or maybe 5 days, 7 days tops, but we stretched out and really wanted to take our time and get as much as we could out of the studio and the session. So we were there for 4 weeks.
And literally, it's like 5 minutes west of where we are right now.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great place. Super cool people over there. Amazing room. And, when Steve, it just seemed like it was so easy for him to just set it up, hit record, and it just sounded amazing immediately.
When you listen to something that Albini recorded, you look for his DNA, or you listen for his DNA. There's one song on the album, I Walk a Line, which maybe I'm thinking too hard. I'm like, I kind of hear the Jesus Lizard on that one.
Really?
Maybe I'm just overthinking because Albini recorded it.
I mean, we love Jesus Lizard for sure. And I have taken a few things from Dwayne way back in the day, but I'm not sure.
Overthinking it.
Well, I'd love to hear that it's in there somewhere. That's cool. Maybe it's the vocal sound.
Talking about the songs that you do play live from the album, Come to Life's Now one of them. You do get out of your head, which is one of the I think it's the quirky song on the album.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I keep seeing people say that it sounds like a Johnny Cash song. I guess it tells a little story about Vaden walking around, being inside his head and talking to a fish. That's kind of a nod to the Pixies, Where's My Mind? But it feels a little different. It's got like a kind of a stompy thing about it. It is one of the outliers, and it took us a while to kind of figure out what to do with that song. But we kind of just...
It's so fun.
Oh, good. People seem to like it live.
And
So we'll keep playing it.
And we also do Damage live, which seems like that's got to kill live.
That's fun. It's like it just balls out for 2 minutes 40 seconds. I don't know if you recognize it, but that song's kind of a nod to a Bob Seger song, "Ramblin' Gamblin' Man."
Oh yeah,
There's even a little lyrical.
that's Bob Seger's
reference.
System, man. That's
Yeah.
album number 1.
Yeah. So we're going for that Bob Seger flavor on that one. See more classic rock.
Oh my
flavor
God.
bringing in.
Being an independent band has freed you to follow your muse.
Yeah. I think when we were in our 90s, we wanted to sound just like the bands we love of the time, right? We weren't going to do anything from the 80s or the 70s in the 90s, but now we're old enough, it's fun to incorporate that flavor. So it's the people that we were incorporating, they were doing it from the previous generation.
Absolutely.
So it's cool to kind of keep filtering that stuff through the music.
It's like a rich oral tradition handed down from generation to generation.
You try to steal it, but you can't help but put your fingerprints on it.
Speaking of being an independent band and comparing now to the 90s, while it can be liberating, I know something as straightforward as releasing a record takes a lot of work and takes a lot of financing. Talk to me about the benefits of being independent in the present music landscape, which it seems like there are no rules and it's the Wild West out there.
Yeah, it kind of is. And on that topic, we did something different this time we'd never done before. In the 90s, our label, Interscope Records, would say, here's a $300,000 record budget, which is nuts to start with. And, of course, they would give it to us, but then they would own the record.
Right.
And we would have to pay all that back anyway, and never, of course, it never pays back, never recoups. That's what it was. That's what the world was like then. These days, of course, you don't have to spend $300,000 on a record. You can go spend a month at Electrical with Steve Albini and do the whole thing for 30, 40 grand. It's amazing what you can do with less money. So what we did is we spent 2 years playing shows around Texas and stockpiling all this money so that we could afford to pay for it ourselves, pay for the lodging, pay for our food, just cover it ourselves. Now we own the record. So every copy that sells, we get the money. We don't have to pay most of it to some corporate conglomerate that will screw us over in the end. So it's really a great situation when an artist can own the work, and that's what is available to artists these days. They play the cards. I love that. Right.
So I gave you some money when I bought that record.
Yeah, straight to us. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And slices.
Going back to the new album again, The Charmer from Toadies. I wanted to be everywhere. Again, there's that fabulous lead guitar making its presence felt on that one. Also, I say this all the time. I love the way certain songs build. There's a great build to this one. When did this song fall in the timeline of writing and creation?
This was one that came out during the pandemic. Our drummer sent me a voice message where he just goes, "Hey, I got this strange beat," and he goes like this. Boo, boo, ka, boo, boo, ka, boo, ka, ka, boo. He basically sang this really strange beat that's maybe in 10/8 time. I'm not even sure. I dropped that little recording into my Logic, my recording software, and added some guitars to it. Sent that to our singer, and like the next day, sends it back, fully formed into a song with words and melodies and everything. So that's
seriously the next day.
Yeah.
That's how he works.
He can if he's feeling good, he can turn stuff around real quick, and it's very cool. This speaks to like trying to do stuff quick and light and move fast and not get bogged down in the process.
Get out of your head. Just create.
Yeah, get out of your head. Just get out of the way. Just let it come out.
Oh, I love that. And then, speaking of chugging along, I Call Your Name. That feels like a pressure cooker.
Oh yeah, good. That was one. Now, see, I had written the music for that one, which is kind of unusual. Like I said, most of the stuff previously had come out of Vaden, our singer. This is one that I had started writing in 2018-19. I was trying to knock off like a Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds vibe with this kind of swinging, dirgy thing. But what happens is when you try to steal, you end up, like I said, putting your fingerprints all over it, and it sounds, I'm sure, a lot more like a Toadies song than a Bad Seed song. And in the end, it kind of sounds like a Scorpions song, The Zoo, or something.
Yes.
You know that one?
Of course, Animal Magnetism.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so that's how that one came about. And, of course, Vaden writes all the lyrics, so he put the lyrics on that one and turned that one around real quick. But when we were working out the arrangement, when we all finally got together, because we live in separate cities, when we finally got together to bang it out, I think Vaden said, okay, we'll get to this second chorus, and then Clark will do something interesting for 2 minutes, or a minute and a half. And after that, so I went home, and it was maybe 8 months before we ended up in the studio with Steve Albini. And so I would sit there every day and try multiple passes of weird things. And in the end, I just wanted to, one of my heroes is Philip Glass. These repetitive figures that just do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I really wanted to get some of that in there. And so found some bits that worked. The band was like, let's do, that part's really cool, that part's cool, let's put these three together. And so we went in and laid it down with Steve. But the cool thing about what Steve can do is, he works a lot with the ambient room mics, right? He has microphones in the corner and on the floor picking up the sound of the space, not only the sound of the amp or the drum. And he can ride these. He can push these up and he can pull them down and the sound will get real tight and clean. He can push them up and the sound becomes huge and roomy and like a bomb on the drums sometimes. And this is one where when it comes back in after my Philip Glass indulgence, Steve pushed those room mics up and that song just sounds huge at the end. I feel like that's one of the more Albini-esque moments on the record, of which there, it's all over it, but that one especially sounds like his work to me.
And I think people listening to any new Toadies record, and it's been a while since we had a new Toadies record, I think anyone listening tries to figure out, well, where's that classic Toadies sound? I feel like the title track is kind of the most classic Toadies on the record.
That's interesting you say that. Our singer sat down, Vaden, he sat down one day, and his goal was to write a classic sounding Toadies song. He's like, I just want to do an old school Toadies song, just want it to sound just like the old stuff. And that DNA is definitely in there. Kind of the subject matter and the dynamic, and of course the recording.
It's kind of dark.
Yeah, it's dark. And for him, he has this, many of us do, this voice inside that says, you can't do that, you're not good at that, you should just stop, you're not good at anything. This kind of self-critical voice. Well, he made peace with this voice years ago because he figures he needs that to be creative. It's kind of helped him with the way he makes music. And so his way of making peace with that side of him was naming it The Charmer.
That's so interesting.
That's what The Charmer is. So if the lyrics are like, I'm only here because of you, and I'm inside you, you'd be nothing without me. It was his way of kind of like processing and making peace with this charmer, this alternate, self-critical voice. And he says he knows how to access it, he knows how to keep it at bay, and now he can work with it and not let it get him down. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. He is more on this album, more open about what's going on in his head than he's ever been before. He likes to write in characters or fiction that are maybe a part of him in there somewhere, but he likes it to be detached and to be somebody else in some story. But on this one, after the pandemic and all that he went through and we all went through, he just really wanted to put himself in the words, and so that's where we got The Charmer from.
And knowing all that about Vaden, I've done a handful of Toadies interviews through the years. Usually it's Donnie. I'm delighted to sit here with you. Vaden has never done it. I worked at Q101 for years. Never interviewed Vaden. I'm assuming, based on what we know and what you just said, like that's not his vibe at all. He'd rather be detached.
Well, I will say, as we've gotten older, he has become more opened up and more social. Loves talking to the fans, loves talking about the music. I certainly understand where you might get that impression, but maybe next time he can be the guy sitting here. He really has a lot, or both of us, I'll be over here. He's got a lot to say. He's absolutely one of the funniest dudes I have ever met. Really smart, but yeah, he'll be quiet and make you think, what's going on inside his head? Then he'll say something that's crazy and make you laugh till you're crying.
Going back to Albini, is there a sense of, and pride's the wrong word, but accomplishment that you were able to do something with Steve before he passed?
The fact that he passed just blew our minds. I mean, he was full of life when he was there. He was 1,000% engaged in the process. The man was so smart. He could keep, 50 plates spinning in his head about the process. He's like, okay, if you're going to add this one little guitar thing, then we've got these 3 vocals coming up later. I'm going to have to comp those down to one thing. We're going to bounce some tracks. I'm going to have to cut that section out. He loved
He understood how all the dominoes would fall.
He understood everything, and no matter what tangent you would take talking about that third Boston album or whatever, he would always know exactly where we were in every part of the process. It was fascinating to see. I couldn't keep up with it. So, I mean, just the fact that we were there and made this record with him was a dream come true for all of us. And then he passed, and we just, I'm like everybody, we couldn't believe it.
Yep.
He passed too young and very suddenly. And then it kind of we hadn't got the record out yet. We're sitting on this record, and it just changed everything. It's like, well, now this record has a little extra density to it just because of what has happened. And it made us really kind of extra precious about what happened to the record. So we were still trying to find the right label situation.
Yeah.
And this made it harder because we'd be talking to some guys, and me or one of the other guys in the band would be like, this label seems fine, but they don't deserve this Toadies Steve Albini record, so let's just walk. And we ended up walking several times after, getting halfway through the process with these labels. We'd be like, this is not a good fit. This record's too important to us to just let some guys put it out. So that's why we recorded it, years ago, and it finally just came out this month.
That makes sense.
Took a long time to find the right situation, but we did.
I love it. Now, in hours from now, you guys are going to be on stage at the Vic. Such a great room to see you. You're on the road with Local H and the Vandaliers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, I can't remember specifically, but I'm assuming that you and Local H have intersected through the years.
We did a tour in 2017 together, and those guys are great. Excuse me. Scott, hilarious, loves playing music more than maybe anybody I know, does it with such intensity every night, no matter what's going on. He steps on stage, he turns that guitar on, and man, he puts on a show every night. And he's always got, he had Ryan Harding for years, this amazing drummer, who we just saw last night, and who Scott got up on stage unknowingly and said, get up there and play this song. And he jumped up on stage and played this one song. But now he's got Ronnie DeCola from the Arrivals, punk band here in town.
Who are on this podcast just a month or so.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they just put out their first new album. You think the Toadies took a while. Arrivals, I think, was like 20 years.
Is that right? I got to check him out. Because Ronnie is the sweetest dude, and also another guy that just loves playing music. He's having such a good time playing in front of these big crowds. He's like, man, I just love it. I love it. And I love to see that enthusiasm. But Local H is just such a, man, they are a force of nature. Every night, well, I'd say half the nights, after their show, I'm a little intimidated because
I was going to ask, because they do tear it up.
They tear it up, and I swear to God, I'll be backstage and I'll hear that crowd roar. And I'm like, what is going on out there? And it's a little intimidating. Our bass player says, all right, look, Local H, they go in there with brute force. We go in there, we're surgical. That's how he explains it. And that puts me at ease a little bit, because it's hard to go up there and follow a band that puts on a show like Local H does.
I love hearing that, because, one thing that both bands have in common, you've both aged remarkably well, and I mean that from a songwriting perspective. I think Scott's writing some of the best music of his entire career, and we're, in the 2020s. And then you guys just last month put out The Charmer, which I think elevates your legacy.
Great. That's cool. It's nice to hear. It's weird, because when we were all in our 30s and the Stones were turning 60, we're like, the Stones are 60. Can you believe it? But it seems like age has nothing to do with music.
Nothing. And I would say 60 in the year 2026 is a lot different from 60 in 1994.
That is absolutely true. I mean, I believe we're all going to live to be 100.
Hell yeah.
Know? So there's no point in feeling old at 50s or 60s even. And it's really cool. It doesn't seem like age matters to the audience as well. As long as we can pull it off, and it seems like we're able to do it, and our singer, Vaden's voice sounds as good as it ever has. So the fans don't care that we're gray-haired and a little softer than we used to, and we're just happy to be out here doing it. So it seems like it's a win-win so far.
I love it. And again, the new album, it's fabulous. Right here, and you can get it. You go to a show and get it there.
Do that.
And I'm going to stop recording because my camera's about to be overheated. So we're going to stop here. So great to see you. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, it was a good chat. Thanks for the pizza.